Alright,
can
so we are here with Speiger again. He is going to help me fix an issue we had with BearCore and
Yay!
add something new to it and hopefully teach me how to find things on my own instead of him having to tell me all the time, so maybe I can actually add some things on my own eventually. We were going to work on possibly adding an item this time, but I really am getting tired of Enderman messing with my yard, so we're going to try to fix that. So the first thing we had an issue with, or the one thing we had an issue with, was Greg had me put bone meal in a dispenser and it crashed the
And it,
server.
yeah. The first thing that we are going to do on the bone meal event, you have like a space between your also bracket and your if statement. Remove that empty space between those because that looks ugly. Between the if and the bracket, there's like a blank
Oh,
space,
this
a
one right
blank
here.
line.
You don't like this being right here. Okay.
It looks weird. It confuses.
You
Also,
formatting
it leaves.
people. I'm telling you.
Good. So we are fixing that for the sleeping and for the dispenser, the crash, because the sleeping has also the potential to cause that. And the only thing we're going to add is actually, um, after I see you going to remove that blank space, let's wait 1 second,
hmm
and you're done. You are calling the function there that is called add chat message.
Yeah.
That's actually like a special interface which Forge didn't think about, which is meant for command senders or command receivers. Um, and there's a second method that's just for entities, but not command senders. And we use the function for command senders, which Forge didn't take care about, and that tries to access your networking. And since on a fake player like a dispenser, that's not there. That has no networking included. So what we're going to add between in the function chat message is between chat and message you type in component with a big C.
Okay.
COMPONENT.
Alright.
That
Now
shouldn't
do
cause
I...
any error.
Yeah, I got no error. Do I have to call that event like I did before with the control O or
No,
whatever?
it's the same class and it's just a different function name. You just need it for objects, not for functions. And the same thing you do for the bone meal. You just copy the function name and paste it to the other one where you have add chat message. And that's a fix.
Okay. So now F11 to save?
Um, Control S, but F11 just starts the game.
Oh, so
Control
we'll...
S saves and F11, how's it called?
Oh shit, that's Shift S,
Excuse
not
me.
Control S. Control S will save it. F11 will start the game. So let's go ahead and do that and test it and make sure
The only
everything is
downside
working.
to this is the bone meal doesn't get consumed in the dispenser, and we can't make that work.
That's not even really an issue. I just thought it was funny to take their bone meal.
Yeah.
So I'm not real worried about that part. Minecraft is loading up. Single player, new world, creative. God, I hate half my game creative. What the hell? We just crashed.
We'll see why in a second.
Okay. Using in Incremental CMS is deprecated and will likely be removed in a future release.
Scroll up, please. Or, well, in a second, I'm just reading because I don't have that right now.
Let's see. Stack trace. Affected level. Stack trace. Give me the actual crash issue here, would you, buddy?
The crash is inside the console.
Oh, it
But
doesn't
you're
tell me
already
down here at
checking
the
it.
bottom? Yeah, this is, okay, yeah, this is okay. Report exception. Why does it say a getting biome issue?
You have a corrupted chunk. The world is corrupted.
How the hell did my world get corrupted?
I think because of the how should I say this? Maybe the crash with a dropper already broke something.
I didn't do that in this world. I did that in my GT6 world.
Interesting. But something got corrupted.
Okay, well, we'll try to reload it, delete that world, and try a new one.
Because I have exactly the same code that you have, and I'm running it. So, and I'm already pressing the dispenser.
Okay.
Let's try a burnout clock. Let's see how that looks.
Single, delete this world. Create a new one. Creative. And yes, unlike most people, I'm not making a super flat world. I can't be that freaking cheaty. I have to have a regular world. Terrain. Loading into a void. Why in the hell does this thing? Oh, and I'm in a fucking
I hope you
jungle.
didn't forget to enable cheating.
I'm actually in creative, so not a problem.
Yeah, that's good.
Alright, so we need redstone to get a dispenser, and we're gonna need a button to activate it. We're gonna need bone meal, which I don't even know what that's in. Miscellaneous, maybe?
Button
Bone?
is under redstone.
No, the bone meal. What the hell is it under?
The bone meal's under this materials.
Ah, okay. So, grab a little bit of bone meal.
Miscellaneous is mobs and stuff like that. Everything that is normally not gainable via crafting, usually at least. There are a couple of exceptions, but yeah.
Alright, so dispenser with a button on it. Sapling in front. Bone meal inside. We hit the button, and it will just throw out shit particles. It's not using the bone meal because, well, you can't use the bone meal on the sapling. And it's
Yeah.
not crashing. Alright, so we got that fixed. It doesn't tell you
By
to
the
stop
way,
cheating, but we can't do that because it's not
yeah.
me, so.
Basically, we fixed the forge bug that we ran into, or derp of forge.
Okay. So we'll save and quit that, and now this is where you're going to teach me how to find this Enderman picking up stuff thing?
Yeah, I give you like a path where you can find that class,
Okay.
where you find all Minecraft classes, and then I'll let you look.
Okay.
But first, I need to catch up on the stream a tiny bit.
Yeah, no problem.
So you have actually the folder already open.
Yep.
The block sapling. If you close, minimize the block folder, you have all the Minecraft classes open.
Okay.
And basically every folder represents what it's saying. So for example, the enchantment represents everything that has to do with enchantments, dispenser, everything with the dispenser, regarding like what it's dropping and what it's doing something special. Item represents everything with items. World represents everything with the world. Um,
So what I'm wanting is entity.
yes.
But I just had a really awesome idea. Because I seen this one right here that says scoreboard. Is it possible to make a death counter?
That's even possible without modding. You can
Really?
make that per commands, but I don't know how because I don't work much with commands.
Okay. Can we? If we can't do it today, that's fine. But at some point, can we add that to this mod?
We can add. You can make that on any server without any mods. You don't need a mod to do that.
But I don't know how to do it with commands. I so need a death counter.
Yeah, you do that with the Minecraft commands in vanilla Minecraft. Basically, you don't need a mod to make a death counter. You
Really?
can make a death counter with a mod, but with a score with commands, it's easier and also faster because everything is already in place.
Okay. Well, I got to figure out how to do that then. Because
Yeah,
um, we actually, how long has it been able to be done easily in with commands? Because we want one in 147. Was it easy
I
then?
don't know if it's possible in 147, but we could look that up.
When we
Um,
look at that later on, we'll look that
yeah.
up. Okay, so I need to go into entity, AI boss effect item monster. That would be a Enderman. Entity blaze, cave spider, creeper, Enderman.
Uh,
So this is what I need to
look into.
actually look in this. Okay. So I open that up and it says package, entity monster.
The package is basically the folder reference for you, so it knows it is that folder. If the package is not equal to the folder where it is in, it starts throwing an error because both have to be equal. Um, but yeah,
I've heard Greg talk about hash maps. I don't know what in the hell that is.
a hash map is basically a key and a value. You have like a list of key and values, and you give the key and get the value out. That's a hash map.
Oh, okay.
It's
Public,
really simple.
public class entity Enderman extends entity mob.
Yeah. It's in the entity element class. You don't need to go any further into other mob classes.
Okay. I'm guessing since it says in extends entity mob, the mob class actually has its own AI built into that one, and this is just an extension of the base mob
Yeah,
class.
basically some base code for things that would be duplicated anyways, like collision detection, attacking, stuff like that, like
Okay.
on collision attacking. So, and pathfinding maybe, or anything that could be duplicated. So,
Just save on coding the
code,
same thing
yeah,
over and over and over.
yeah.
Okay, makes sense. Private static final UUID, that's a speed boost modifier? I didn't know Enderman had a speed boost modifier.
When they attack, they are faster.
Oh, and
When they
in
are
one
angry, they
in
when they are
112 they're
angry, they
really fast.
yeah. Basically, when they are angry, they run really quickly. Like baby zombies, for example, run quickly. That's done with modifiers because you don't have to recalculate every time to do something. So that's how it's done, basically.
Oh, okay, yeah, when they're just passively walking around they're really kind of slow, but then
Yeah,
once you anger them they run.
yeah. And then when you anger them, they apply this attribute modifier to their attribute map.
So if you wanted to make things easier on people, you could actually take that out and Enderman wouldn't be as fast.
Just reduce it. You can change the value of it.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that because I don't want to make things easy on people, but it's nice to know
You
that
could
it's,
increase it.
yeah,
Listen,
that
you
would,
could increase it.
Crazy would hate me more than she already is for taking away her bone meal. Private static final attribute modifier, attacking speed boost modifier.
The attacking speed modifier UID is basically the unique ID of the modifier, so you can't have duplicates.
Ah,
That's the idea behind it. And the modifier itself is just the representation, what it changes. It needs an ID, also to create a random one.
and now it has
Um,
at deprecated. Do not touch this ever.
that is basically the pickup blocks for the 256 block IDs that vanilla would have normally.
Okay,
Forge marked that as deprecated because Forge removes that usage completely.
okay.
Basically, if you wouldn't have Forge, that would be the field that you modify. But since we don't use Forge, since we use Forge, this is something you actually ignore.
Oh, okay. So that's all the stuff in the deprecated one. So we'll skip that and go down to the next at, which should be the actual. Wait a minute, I'm not. Never mind. Skipping too far, I think, because there's
You can't
actually.
skip too far to that, actually, to the function that you want to change. You can't skip it too far.
Okay. Well, I seen where it
So,
said teleport the Enderman to random nearby position. I take it that's all in that same thing.
yeah, I think at least.
Actually, they didn't have another at for it, so it's somewhere in here. I just gotta figure out where.
Add block. Um,
Let's go back up here. Private static bowling, and then it's the equals new bowling. Counter to delay the teleportation of an Enderman towards the currently attacking target. Private, this is teleport stuff. Player
Look
must
at to the right side. You have their task list. Task list. Close that, please.
task this. Oh, okay. That?
Yeah. And
Okay.
then you have the outline, and there's like an A and a Z button with an arrow down, like a green A and a purple Z. Press that so it's pressed in that regard.
Okay.
And then you should, but basically what the outline is, that's all functions and fields that are in the class, just without the code behind it. So
Oh,
if you
okay.
search for something, with that you can see what the class all has. And static functions are usually on the top. And the function we are actually searching for is static.
So it's this carryable blocks,
Yeah.
which is actually the one I was just reading that says private static bowling.
No, it's not the Boolean array, but it's carryable, basically. That's the
Okay.
Hashmap, a special one. Um, basically, there are two functions. Get carryable, and then you put in a block, and it returns a true or false. That is what the Enderman asks, if he can carry the block. And the set carryable is a function that allows you to say if a block is carryable or not, or if he can carry it.
Okay, I got the right one now. Yeah, I seen I was on the bowling one, not on the actual Hashmap one.
Identity.
So
Yeah.
this is what you're talking about here, where it says forge start, private static, identity, Hashmap, block, bowling, carryable.
Yeah. The
If
key is the block, and the result is the value, basically.
Okay, so if the carryable equals null, carryable equals new identity hash map.
Basically, that initializes the hash map if it's not already initialized.
Okay.
Um,
and then carryable dot put block can carry.
Put is basically store it in it.
Okay.
And it overrides values. So if something is already stored and then you put it again into it, it will still override it. So the old value just gets deleted. So nothing to worry about.
Okay, so what we actually need is above that. Am I wrong? Where it says
We need
block.
the set carryable function, which you know where it is now, and we need to get into your mod class actually,
Okay.
because you can't change the Minecraft source, else Minecraft will crash because Forge validates the source code, and if it finds any modification in it, it will automatically crash the game on start because it no longer allows the manipulation of the files itself.
Okay. But this is the one. I'm going to have to wait 10 seconds for you to see it, but this is what we actually need to change, right? Because this is the get ID from block that grass equals true. We actually need to write a way to tell that false.
Yeah, we need to afterwards once the game is loaded, or almost loaded basically, um, because you could set it to false and some other mod maybe loads later than yours and says, actually we want to have grass to be picked up, and then you're like, damn, I wasted my time now.
Okay.
So that doesn't happen. I give you in a second a function name or a class name, and then you use that too for things. But first, you need to get back to your mod class.
How the hell do I do that?
You have on top of that, on top of the class, you have BearCore, player sleep event bed in the middle. Block grass and block sapling and stuff like that. You can close that or click on that. There's an X that would close it, and yeah, when you click on the name, it just opens the class for you.
Okay, so I want to go to this one, and I can close the bed event and the sapling event and the.
Meanwhile, I'm going to look up the class that we need.
Alright.
Basically, what I want you to do is copy the init function and call it post_init with the add event handler.
Okay, so I need to copy this. And come down to, I believe, here. Paste it there. And he said name it post init.
The
Yes.
function name. And there is the FML initialization event. Between FML and initialization, you put a post with a big P between those letters, like we did with chat message.
So I need to change the I to a capital I.
It is already capital.
Not in this one, it was lowercase.
No, I mean you have like inside of the round brackets, you have the FML initialization event.
Oh.
And inside of there, you put between the L and the I, you put a post with a big P.
Oh, I was changing the post initial, the green one outside the brackets.
That you have to rename to something else because you can't have two functions with the same name and the same parameters. So or parameter counts, and that's why you need a different name for that too. But that's not important really. It just needs to be done. And once you change it to post, you need to organize your imports.
I was going to say it's giving me an error, and
Yeah.
it says import that. So I could just click there, but I'm going to do the control O, so I will remember that that's how I do this.
It's convenient.
Yeah.
um, and now the cool thing about static functions. And it's a good thing and it's a bad thing at the same time. It depends on how you do this. You can call static functions out of any class. You don't need any references. You don't need even the post initialization event class inside of your how's it called, post init function. You need it inside there to run it, but you don't need to change anything from there. Um, Basically, you need the personalization to get Forge to call your function, but you don't need the thing to actually do something with it. You just call the entity enderman class to set something. Also, the Minecraft Forge event bus register in your post init function doesn't need to be there because you have it already in your init function. Post init is after init, basically later in the starting sequence of Minecraft.
What is this that popped up on my screen? Why did it not do the Control O and give me this box?
You need Control Shift O.
Control Shift O. See, that's why I'm doing this, so I'll remember this shit. Okay, so there we go. Now it's called it, and now it's not erroring. And you said I need to delete this Minecraft Forge event bus registry thing.
Yeah, because you already done it and it doesn't need to be done twice.
Okay, so we'll take that out. And we'll put a space here between my brackets to drive him nuts. Actually, to give me somewhere to type in.
Yeah. And now you type in entity enderman. You can go to the entity with the name. That is also fine.
So I need to call this one that we had open up here.
Yeah.
So
and then you do a dot basically.
I just do entity enderman dot.
Yeah. And then the thing should show up where it tells you you can do this, 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 and this. Basically, the possibilities that you can do.
If I could spell entity with an N instead of an M. It's what happens when you try to type in the dark.
Entities are soulless. MTT.
Yes. Okay, so we have class get carryable block, which is the
Asking if it can carry it, but you want to actually want to say can carry or set carry in this case. Set carry function.
Where the hell's the set carry? I don't see a set carry.
It's directly underneath get carry.
Get carry. And then it says this, and then field UUID. There is no
Set carryable, that should be directly underneath. You have it visible actually, like right now when what I'm at.
really.
There's class, then get carryable, and then set carryable.
Oh, never mind. I'm not looking at the actual beginning. I was looking over here where it says can carry. Okay, so I want this one. Read
Yeah.
the whole damn
So
thing, dummy.
yeah.
Alright,
And the
gotcha.
first parameter is the block that you want to set it to, because you have to define, okay, this block I want to set the data to. So you type in block, or is it?
The block's already there.
Yeah, actually, is it? No, it's not block, it's blocks. You type in blocks.
Okay, so add an S.
Yeah, and then dot, and then you type in the block that you want to change. That it, well, the block that you want to change in this case.
And then pick grass. That's F, not G. Okay, not glass. We want grass. There we go.
And when you set it to true, it allows it. When you set it to false, it disallows it.
So do we put, well, where do we put
False.
the false at?
After where the can carry would be in.
Oh, the can carry, I just type false?
Yeah.
Okay. False.
So it no longer can pick up grass.
Okay.
Sadly, that's not easy to test.
I was just going to say, that is going to be almost impossible to test, because you can't just get an Enderman to pick one up.
Yeah.
So this will be something that I'm going to save it now. So Control S. I'm going to sneeze because everybody needs to hear that.
Also need their ears busted.
I need what?
They need their ears busted.
Oh. Actually, they shouldn't have an issue with that because I have a compressor that'll hopefully take that out and not blow their ears. I'm going to load the game and make sure it works. And I will test this basically over time.
Just spawn like 50 Endermen because they have like a 1 in 20 chance to pick up a block.
I'll have to set the time to night so they're not running off though too.
Yeah, that would be a good idea. Just pick up like a spawn egg and then like place like 1,000 of these. Just don't look up to them so they don't attack you.
Okay. They actually can attack me like if I'm in creative though, right?
Only if you're peaceful, but I think they can attack you even if you're aggressive. Because you look at them. Hello? They don't like to be watched at.
Enderman. Fish, cave spider, Enderman. So there we go. Now, I think I actually know how to do this. It is set.
What you should do is bring them into a plains field, or best would be actually like a flat grass area. A flat world, for example, because they can't pick up blocks at all.
Okay, I don't know how to do it. If it's not that, then it's probably...
It's time set.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, you type in... By the way, if you press... how's the button called about... tab. If you start to type in and then hit tab, it auto-completes.
Oh. /time.
And then set. Time set. Blah, blah, blah.
We want to set to 0, which would be...
Daytime.
Midnight? Or no, that would be first thing in the morning. So we want to actually
18,000.
choose 18,000?
Just type in night. Just set night. It turns it to night. Yeah.
If I knew where these keys were on this keyboard, I didn't actually have to look at them. It should be so much easier typing in the dark.
You could also hit like tab, because all possible things it will, or if it is properly programmed, it will automatically tell you all possible things for that area where you right now are.
And I have to be in a huge ass jungle.
Yeah, which is the worst area to test it in.
Yeah,
I'm testing it too.
Doing what most people have probably never seen me do, and that's fly in creative. God, I hate doing this. I'm gonna have to go take a shower after this and wash off the stink of cheatiness.
Right now, a flat world would be perfect for you.
Okay, so spawn a bunch of
grass. It's all grass, so nothing else that they could pick up.
So now we just gotta watch these guys and see if they try to pick up something. Get rid of some of this grass out of my face. Damn it, stop breaking the actual grass you want them to try to pick up.
Monster noises are so loud.
You don't know how hard it is for me to not grab a sword and just kill all you guys.
Just use a nuke or TNT or whatever you want.
Yeah. Say no nuke here. Vanilla. Okay, this guy has a block, but he has a regular dirt block.
That's good.
He doesn't have
So
grass.
yeah. So if you don't see after like a couple minutes they are picking up grass, you know that it's working.
Okay. So yeah, I think it's working.
I just had an idea. I just had a stupid idea. A really stupid one.
What's that?
Whenever someone uses bone meal, that they create a mini explosion at that position. Like they blow things up instead of growing them.
That's just mean.
A mini dispenser, a mini explosion spawner that never runs out of TNT or whatever it is. But yeah, that would be actually really easy to make. I'm not joking.
Can we set it to where it blew up the dispenser if they try to do it in the dispenser?
Yes, we could make that, actually. We can't actually directly remove the dispenser, but we could spawn a mini explosion. That would destroy the dispenser and the crop field.
I don't want to destroy the field, just the dispenser.
We can't detect actually if it where the dispenser is or if it is really a dispenser. We can only detect if it's a player or if it's something automatic.
Should we stop them from picking up regular dirt as well as grass? Because this is gonna make them pick up regular dirt a lot more, right? Because they can't pick up the grass.
It's no, actually not. It's a random position that they pick. It's just that they can't pick up the grass. That's all. We could make it even that they can't pick up any blocks.
Well, they can have flowers, and they can have sand.
Basically, to remove dirt, you just do the same thing, but instead of selecting grass, you select dirt, calling the same function.
Go ahead and do that because I don't want them messing up like tree farms. Oh wait a minute, those actually have humus on them, not grass, or not dirt. But I don't want to pick on my damn dirt either.
They can pick up wood, I think, too.
Can they?
Let me look because
Let's
I don't
look in the class. Grass, dirt, sand, gravel, yellow flower, red flower, brown mushroom, red mushroom. They can pick up TNT. I didn't know they could pick up TNT.
Spawn with mass murders. Like they try to duplicate creepers.
How in the hell would they pick up clay? They can't get in water to get to it.
Clay could spawn up into underground with some mods. So. But I assume if you try to build something out of clay, it's not really good.
Yeah, you'd think you'd be doing hardened clay anyways, which is a completely different block, and you can't pick that up. Okay, so but now we change this.
This is really mean. If you have like somewhere TNT laying and the enderman picks up the TNT and then places it next to redstone randomly.
Yeah, that would definitely be bad. Okay, so there's dirt and grass that can no longer pick up. So we will hit Control S. Don't really need to test that because it's the same exact thing as the grass, and we just tested it. So that is actually all I had planned to add. Unless you have something you want to add.
Not that I know.
Alright, so we're going to have a short stream today. I will, like I said, throw this on to GT6 and we'll try it tomorrow when I'm testing GT6 new weekly update. Make sure everything doesn't crash when it's in with other mods, which it most definitely shouldn't.
You never
And
know.
I don't really know other than maybe playing around with the crafting table eventually if there's actually a whole lot more I want to add to this. This is about the
I
main
know
things.
which crafting table you talk about.
Yes, I so badly want to do that. I think it would be neat to make a item, just a weird one.
You know what? I give you one class just to show you. You can drag it into Eclipse and it automatically does that properly for you.
Okay.
I just want to give it to you and like let it to you look at it. There we have it. I'm going to upload that to you so you can have it.
Okay.
Where are you here? There you go. Let's look at it. Download it and drag it into Eclipse. It will automatically open and looks will look like it on as normal class. So
I just grab this out of here and throw it over here. And there we go. Holy crap, that is a whole lot of stuff. Package ic2.core.block.machine.low. Oh, this is your crafting table.
Yeah. The tile entity code.
Holy crap, this is what you had to write to make that thing work?
Yeah, basically.
Holy shit, dude. A lot of shit.
It's not as much as you would think.
Mm.
The recipe stuff is like a lot, but
Alright, so
it's only 800 lines.
Yeah, only. Alright, so public class tile entity industrial work table extends tile entity machine implement I has GUI I network plan.
The tile entity machine is basically just a tile entity with an inventory already included. The I has GUI is managing the UI and the inventory, or the container, basically what you interact with. And the iNetwork client listener is just for buttons, and the iInventory or the inventory notifier I think is for mini inventories if they changed, from what I remember.
Okay, so if I do a crafting table, I will have to implement the I has GUI and iNetwork client.
That's
No?
IC2 related code.
Oh, okay.
That just helper classes that make my code a lot simpler. But you actually don't need that. You could do that with vanilla Minecraft. But yeah, why not?
Okay, speaking of, is there an easy way to make a vanilla crafting table not drop shit on the ground?
Yeah.
Can we add that real quick?
And real quick, no.
Okay, can we add that in today?
If you have a couple hours, yes.
A couple hours? Holy crap, that's a lot more than I thought it was going to take.
Well, I need to explain you how things work. You need to implement about one interface. You need to make 4 classes. You need to make texture loading. You need to make
Holy shit.
There's a lot to do, so that's why I said a couple hours, especially if you want to learn how that is. This is from what we did, what was really simple, to something actually really complex.
Okay,
it's not as complex as this class, but I think the total code for this would be about half of the class I gave you.
This is
off
what
of it.
where coding kicks me in the ass, because something as simple as that seems very simple to me, but it's not.
Yeah, the reason is you have to actually, like, every tiny thing you have to code. There's nothing really simple to that.
Hmm.
Basically, just to explain you what you need a tile entity that represents the inventory. You need to make it an inventory that can't be really accessed unless you want to automatically pipe things in. That's a
Mm-hmm.
completely different story. It doesn't make it easier or harder in that regard, whatever you want. You need to make a container that is basically handling the items, that it's synchronized between server and client, and also checks for the recipe. And then you need to make a UI that basically represents the UI and has slots drawn and stuff like that. That's actually like really minimal code, but I need to explain you exactly what you need to do. Then you need also a block which shows off which represents the crafting table. You need an item block that represents the crafting table as item. You need a GUI handler who opens the UI on the server and the client, because else you can't see it. And that's about it. And maybe a crafting recipe for it, which is really simple.
Okay, so I will work on getting. Can we use a GUI from a regular crafting table?
Yeah, we could copy a lot of code from a crafting table. The only really thing is the block.
Okay,
Um,
so I'll work on getting an actual block and item texture.
we could already start to make your first block if you want. That we could start now, but I don't think we get the whole UI and stuff like that finished. If you're okay with that, something you can place in the world already.
Okay,
Maybe
that's
even a
fine.
crafting recipe.
That's fine. We can do that. All right. How do we
Yeah.
do that?
You need to go into your folder and create a new class.
Okay. And this is
You right
something
click
new.
onto the
How do I
folder.
make a class?
You click onto the folder where your BearCore is, and right click it, and there should be a new, and then there should be, if you don't have it in the new, then there's the class inside of new. If you don't have it, there's other, and then you can find it in there.
Okay, where in the hell is my thing actually stored at? It is in
At the bottom.
bottom. Let's get these things minimalized so they're not.
I should maybe close
There it
Minecraft so you
is.
don't.
Okay, main Java. So example mod is where it's actually saved.
Yeah.
So then I want to put BearCore there, which, okay, do I add a class to this?
You right click the example mod folder, then select new, and then there should be a class. If that's not there, then it should be under other in the
Ah,
new folder.
okay, class.
Okay. And then you name the class how you want to call it. How's your block called? How you want to call the block class?
So this is the name here. We'll put fuck, I'm terrible with names. Look at the name of the
Block
group.
bear bench. Block bear bench, for example.
Why do we
That
want
sounds also
block
really
in
cool.
front? Why not just bare
Um,
bench?
because you could have an item block, you have a block, you have a GUI, you have a container. So if you call it bare bench, then you have no longer the name for the UI, the container, the inventory, the item, and stuff like that. If you call it block bare bench, you can call the next classes GUI bare bench, container bare bench, tile entity bare bench, and stuff like that. So you have the same name and can search later for things.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so block bare bench.
Don't finish it.
Okay.
There is a field underneath it that's called superclass
Mm-hmm.
and a browse button. Click on that.
Okay.
Now it says choose a type. Type in block where it says Java object or Java util object or whatever it says. And there's a couple of classes that show up. There should be a JCraft Orbis, Java util pattern, JDK Nashorn internal, and there's underneath that is net Minecraft block, and that one you select.
Okay.
And then you click finish.
Okay.
Now, first of all, the constructor should have like your block BearBench should have something like a red underline after that.
Yeah.
It needs a constructor, so you need to add the constructor. Just hover over it, it tells you a solution.
Okay, got that.
There's a protected constructor that's basically protected BearBench material. The protected we set to public. We remove the protected and exchange it with public. Protected means only parent classes, or the classes that extend your class can see it. Since we want other classes to see your block or your block BearBench class, you need to make it public.
Okay.
The material is basically what the material is made of, and since you don't need to search for that by default, you can remove the material out of the constructor. You can make it an empty constructor if you want to.
So we'll just take this back to nothing with just two open brackets.
Yeah. Inside the super, you type in material and dot. And then you select the material you want to make it out of.
Okay.
Since I assume that's a wooden workbench, I would select wood.
Okay. Good. Got it?
That's it.
Okay.
From the technical side, the block is done.
Really?
Only from the technical side. It has it's really basic. It has not a texture. It misses all the things, and that's why it's not done yet.
Okay.
So, but basically, if you would now start the game and load this up, it technically could work. Technically, but there's a really big chance that it wouldn't work. So
Should
now
we
I
try
need to
it?
look things up, actually. I need to look things up, actually, because
Okay.
I don't know what to do.
Well, what do you?
This is when you start unprepared. Basically, I think we want to have at least like some texture. So I'm looking up how to texture things right now.
Okay.
Shouldn't it? Oh, okay, you can't set it by that way. That's good to know. There's a function that is called a register icon inside of the block. That's hard to find. If you right click and inside of the class, not inside of the BearBench constructor, inside of the class, there is something should show up where you have your copy paste, and there should be a source thing that you can open up. And when you go underneath that or select that, there's an override and implement method.
Override implement methods. Got it.
You select that, and then you search for register icons, register block icons. If you type an R or something like that, it will bring you to the letter on the selection. And then you put there basically just an X. So you select it and then you load it up.
Okay. registered block icon. Got it.
I'm just thinking right now of ways to do this, and it's so weird.
And I have to hit select all, or no, just check mark that.
No, don't select all. Then you select all
Yeah.
functions.
Okay, so check mark that.
Yeah.
And then hit OK.
Yeah.
Alright, so now we have add override, public void, register block icon, icon registry, and some weird ass code. Why is it adding to dos on my thing? That's weird.
Which texture do we want to take for that right now, for that block?
It needs to be a pretty simple texture, right?
Let's take the log texture because, or no, let's take the.
Because I could do, if it would work, we could do my bear picture that I had up on the stream. But I think that's too.
That's right now. Yeah, that would be possible. Let's use a block of iron. And now that I searched things up, and then I'm sorry about that. Actually, let's leave it in there because we will need it later. Now go to the constructor of the block bear branch and type in the word this dot, and then the function name set block texture name.
So you're talking under the super?
Under the super, yes.
Okay.
Super material wood, and then the new line, and then you type this set block texture name.
This set, and that's all one word with a capital S, right?
Yeah. Basically, this set texture block name function sets all your block texture by default, or uses. That's so simple. If you want only one texture for all sides, that's a simple way to do that. The register block icons is if you want to have more than one texture, or if you want to have state-based textures, because the vanilla block doesn't support that really. You have to implement that yourself. But because I thought too complex, I tried to make that first. But since we want to do something simple, you need to have between this this and the set texture, you have to have a dot between those. You have the word this, and then you do the dot, and then it shows you all the functions, and then you have set block texture name. It will show up on its own.
This one.
Yeah, and then you type in there with the upper brackets, or how you want to call that, the ones where you type in text with, basically. With that, you type in block iron. Block is small typed, then no space, and big iron word. The I in iron should be big. And with that, you set the texture for that.
Okay. And then it's got set texture dot after that. Do I need anything there?
No, you don't need that. You need to remove that, actually.
Oh, okay.
You just need the semicolon at the end, after the closing round bracket, like always.
Okay.
Underneath that, we put a new line again. And actually, no, we don't set a name for that yet. I wanted to give you tell you that you have to set a name, but right now we don't. Now I need to test something really quickly. So give me 1 second to write this function, or the next step, because I'm super prepared. You caught me really off guard, I have to say that.
I love doing that.
Yeah.
Okay, so why is this? Okay. Create local variable block item. It doesn't like block item. Or block iron.
You need to have these 1 second, I sent you the symbol. You need before and after that the symbol. I don't know the name of the symbol. Sorry.
Okay.
Actually, I know something because else you won't find it. Underneath the block texture, you make an empty space and type in again this and dot.
Okay.
And then you call the function set creative tab because you want to actually see your block in a creative tab, else you can't find it. And then you select just one. I usually do the food one. And to select a creative tab, you use the class creative tabs dot, and then you get your selection.
Okay. And you said I'd want mine in blocks, so I just type block there.
Set creative tab.
I got that.
Yeah, and then you say creative tabs dot, and then you select the one you want to have.
Oh, okay.
Let's see if I got mine. Yes. Okay. It doesn't have even a texture. It looks so funny.
You said creative tab dot, and tab has to be capitalized, probably.
Yeah. Tabs, not tab.
Oh, tabs. Okay.
Yeah.
And you want tab block.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, what do I do about the block iron thing? It's not like.
You saw in Discord I typed in for you a symbol that you put before and after block iron because I don't know the symbol name.
Okay, a quote mark.
Quote mark. Okay, quotes. Yeah, basically you need, whenever you type in something like a text that should be seen as a text, you need quote marks between quote marks around the text.
Okay.
Else it doesn't notice it as text because it thinks you're making code.
Okay. And now it has an issue with what's not behind my creative tab thing? Is that because it needs the semicolon?
Yeah.
Okay. Got that.
Semicolon. And that is basically your block actually done. I can tell you because I'm already 2 steps in front, so I'm not too, how's it called? How would I call this? Off guard. I tested already a couple of things, so I try to be in front or ahead. But basically, the block class is now done.
Okay.
So you go to your bear class again.
Okay. Let's close the Enderman, and we'll go close the block grass. We'll go to BearCore.
Yeah. And now you do the same thing that you did with post init, but you copied init and made a post init out of it. What you do now is you copy the init and make it a pre-init. The same way you did it with post init. So you copy it, the Minecraft forge is not needed. You just make how's it called? A pre-init, and put between FML and initialization event, you put in there a pre. That's basically the first step to load things. The init is the second step, and post is the fifth step. And yes, there are a lot of steps between that.
Okay.
Let me catch up. And I don't mean the food.
And now it wants to import, so I gotta do the shift control 0 or O.
Yeah. You can remove the set variable, by the way, because you don't need that in pre. because it's something that has to be after the game was loaded or when it's almost fully loaded.
All of that out of there.
Yeah.
Did I just delete a bracket I was supposed to have in here? I think I deleted my final bracket.
The bracket for the function you don't have. For the pre-init function, you miss a bracket at the end. A cornered one. Or, well, not a cornered one. But, like...
Oh, I'm missing this one. The big bracket thing that goes here.
Yeah.
And for some reason, y'all always have them down a freaking line, which just annoys the ever-living shit out of me.
The bracket position in forward is based on where it is, basically, where it's supposed to be.
Okay, so why is it... It doesn't need a semicolon there, so...
Nope. Go
Oh,
to the open bracket and just press enter. Yeah. No,
I
you
did.
did it the opposite way.
So I need to change this bracket to...
You closed and then open, so that doesn't work. You need to open and then...
Huh? Is it happy now?
Let me
No.
fully zoom so I see it.
Still not happy.
No, that's not the one. I'm catching up. Now you
Syntax
have
error,
two open
increase that
brackets.
to complete class body.
You have now two open brackets for me, and the second one open under pre-init. You have an opening one, and then you have another open. The middle one of the three brackets right now for me needs to be removed in the pre-event. In the pre-init event, you have three brackets, two opening and one closing. In the middle one, you need to remove.
Okay, I think I've got it.
If you got it,
And
you have no longer errors. Well, actually, you have a couple errors, but that's a completely different story.
there we go. I thought I deleted the final bracket, and I did. So now that I put that back in, all those errors are dealt with.
Good. So now you make an empty space between that if you didn't already, and if there are all errors fixed already. Let me wait to catch up. You're calling a class that's called game registry with a big G and a big R. So game and then with a big G and R registry. Inside of your pre-init function, of course.
What the hell is Y? And that's not how you spell that. There we go. Take the E out. Okay, game registry. I'm guessing I need a dot again. And it says class.
No, you have a dot already, I assume. You type in register block. It will show up anyways soon. You take the one with the block and the string. There's only two parameters to that.
Register block string name.
Register block. 1 second. Register block string name.
Yep.
That's the one you take.
Okay.
And in block you type in new block bear bench.
New.
Yeah. New space block bear bench. Typing is the correct typing of the name is already is important, so you know.
Hold on. Is there a freaking undo? Yes. Thank God, because I screwed that up. Okay, so new space
block bear bench.
Oh, I gotta do the forgot.
Yeah. And then after that, you need round brackets after block bear bench.
I need a light on my damn keyboard. Now you want brackets after it. So there's your brackets.
Yeah. The round ones.
Yep.
And for name, you type in the registry name. That can be anything how you want, as long as it doesn't collide with anything else. So you could call it bear workbench or whatever you want to call it. That's your choice.
Now it's called bear bench.
Yeah, and don't forget the semicolon at the end of the call. After the bracket closes at the end of the function.
Okay.
Or at the function call. And after that, we start the game.
Okay. So let's do Control S and F11. Error exit is required
You
project.
forgot the quotes for the name.
Oh.
For the registry name. You need quotes for a string.
Okay.
You don't wear it, you quote it.
So,
do we have actually watchers? Yeah, 2 people. Who's watching?
No idea.
You and me.
Probably.
Yeah, I just looked into the watch list.
Okay, so let's try this again. Control S to save it. F11 to move it. S to save.
Just hit F11. It starts, and if something needs to be saved, it's telling you that you if you want you want to save the classes. The Control S is only for if you want to save before for in between steps. If you started, it automatically asks you to save, so it won't allow you to start if not everything is saved.
Okay. So single player, we'll open our creative world back up.
Yeah, and then you go select it and search for your block. No worry, you will find it really easily. It will be, by the way, at the bottom because it has a later block ID than every other block.
So is it the tile.null.name?
Yeah.
So that's my bench.
Yeah.
Ain't it sexy?
That's the block. This is basically a spare bone you can make a block.
Okay, so
with a broken texture and how's it called? Well, at least you have the missing texture thing.
Yeah. Alright.
I had a nice broken texture, I remember the one. But yeah, that's your block.
Why didn't they give it the iron? Why didn't they give it the iron texture?
Because we made a mistake that I didn't know because I didn't check everything before.
Ah, okay.
Again, Greg is more into it than I am. I'm 110.2, which is even worse. Or I'm basically, I have usually an engine that deals with all that shit for me really easily. So this is like without any assistance or something like that.
Okay.
But basically, you can place it, you can break it, and that's all you need.
Okay.
By the way, this change makes your mod from a server mod to a server and client mod.
Oh, really?
before you needed it for Forge to be on the client too, but now you need it on both sides, else you get a block ID mismatch because you register a new block and that needs to be on both sides.
Oh, okay.
So there's a really cool trick how to disable things like this block because you don't want to have it actually into your server right now because it's not finished. It's half finished.
Mm-hmm.
To prevent something from loading, go to the line where you call your register block. Just select anywhere on that line.
Okay.
And press Control.
Mm-hmm.
And press the 7. And then save.
Okay. So that marks it out so it doesn't recall that.
Yeah. Your pre-init is still called, but the function that adds the block to the game is no longer called.
Okay.
So your block class exists and it's all there, but it's not getting loaded. So it's ignored. So your the block is not getting added to the server because removing a block from a server is actually more dangerous than adding one. So
okay.
So until it's done, we don't want to add the block to your server.
Okay.
So this is basically all I wanted, or all that we should do for today, because I'm not prepared at all. We would need hours to finish it, and especially since I would need to test and stuff like that, it would go even slower.
Okay. So next time we'll come back and see what we can do to figure out this block.
Next day we're going to work on a texture and maybe a crafting recipe. What about that?
Sounds good.
That's good. So, yeah. I think this is the end of the stream.
Yes, it is. Later, y'all.
That's good.